Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
How's everybody feeling?
Hallelujah.
Happy to be back in the building?
Hallelujah.
Well, y'all think we should have pushed it back a couple more weeks? Y'all sure? So has everybody been reflecting on what you were supposed to be reflecting on in the last 2 weeks? Okay. We got any new visitors in here today? Anybody new? No newbies today, right? Okay. So, I got a couple of questions to ask y'all as we get into this, right? So I got a couple of questions to ask y'all. If you commit suicide and you get into the kingdom,
No.
premeditated murder. So by a show of hands, if you can't get into the kingdom, if you commit suicide, raise your hands. Anybody that's not sure, raise your hand. That's good.
Is offering yourself suicide?
Well, we're not actually worthy to offer ourselves. Have to be without spot and blemish to do that. All right. Now, hold that in your mind as we go forward, right? Now, let me ask y'all, what's the difference between a beast and man?
Morals?
Morals?
Supposed to be self-control.
So to be what?
Self-control.
Self-control. Okay? What is a beast driven by? Instincts to do what? Who said that?
Survive.
To eat, right? So that's the difference between a man and a beast. Is that what y'all say? Okay. Now, this lesson is gluttony. Digging our own graves with spoons and forks. Right? So I asked y'all these questions for a reason. So we've been brought up to eat everything on your plate, right? Eat everything on your plate. Don't leave none of it on there. Eat your food so you can become what? Big and strong, right? Big and strong. But what is that really saying?
Big and fat. Strong running over.
Right? Samson wasn't a big guy. Hold on to that. Right? So listen, most of the stuff that we consume is really trash. Right? We're going to see it as we go through. Right? So we've been taught to eat everything So now we eat a whole bunch of trash, right? And then you say, eat it so you can get what? The dessert. So the origin of the word dessert is a clean plate, right? Meaning to eat everything. So to gain a pound, you need to eat 3,500 calories, right? In order to lose a pound, you gotta drop 3,500 calories. So in a typical meal, how many calories do you think you consume?
12,000.
Oh my goodness. So they tell you that you should eat 2,000 calories per day, right? So now I want you to think about it. When we eat what we consider good food, right? When we eat macaroni and cheese, things of this nature, right? When we eat the dressing and all the stuff, which is starch, right? And all these different things, and then you do it multiple times a day. How many calories do you think that you actually consumed in a day? For a whole day. And then you say, let's wash it down with a Diet Coke. Right? Wash it down with a Diet Coke. Yeah, that's beautiful. Right? This is what we have been doing. This is what we have been taught to do. Right? Now, so we've been going over the 7 deadly sins when I've been up here my last 4 or 5 times. So now we have got around to gluttony, right? This is society's okay sin. I said the last time that lust was probably the toughest one outside of pride itself. I take that back. This is it. This one is it. Because all of the rest of them, you can go without. You don't have to be envious. You don't have to be prideful. You don't have to be a sloth. You don't have to do none of these things. But food, it is necessary. You must eat to live, right? This one, you got to. So this sin plays into our social status, right? How does this play into our social status?
When you have more food, it shows that you're prosperous and wealthy.
This is why we post pictures of it. I just threw something together. Show y'all. Right? That's why we put pictures of it up. To show it. Want everybody to see. So we go to a nice, quote unquote, restaurant. What do?
It's the biggest thing.
Show the picture. Look what I'm eating. Look what I can afford. Right? So now we at where do they cook the food in front of you and they squirt the stuff in your mouth? What's that? Yeah, any of these ones.
Don't get nothing squirted in your mouth, man. No. Especially if you're a married woman. Don't be letting them people squirt no sake in your mouth. Say it.
Thank you, sir. But this is
especially you married women.
This is a part of the social status. This makes me fill up. So we brag about eating lobster and steaks and stuff of this nature, right? Does it make you feel bigger and important? This shows that I can afford to do these things. But this thing rides right along with the sloth. So when you hear gluttony, what's the picture that comes to your mind? Right. So just like with sloth, with gluttony, the picture that came to my mind was my 600-pound life. Right? This is what came to my mind. Oh, here we go. I love one. I ordered these 6 pieces. You know? This is ignorance. This is ignorance. We can see it's way, way deeper than that surface stuff. Because there's somebody that's skinny that can eat the same 6 pizzas. Right? That's so this is ignorance. So we can't put it on that. Now, with all of this stuff going on, what is everybody thinking that this shot is leading to, or is? What everybody think it is? So what is it? The mark of the beast, right? A whole bunch of people swear up and down that this is the mark of the beast. But why is everybody so afraid of the mark of the beast? They ain't gonna be able to do what? I'm not gonna be able to eat. The whole thing that you're so afraid of the mark of the beast is your belly. What are we going to eat? If I don't take it, how am I going to eat? How am I going to feed my family? Right? Hope y'all seeing the danger in it already, even before we touch a script. That's what everybody really afraid of. What are we going to eat? How are we going to make it? We got to take it, or we going to starve to death. This is the people's thought process. It's what people hit me up and I can hear it in their voice. They trembling about it. How we get around it. Right? And the shot ain't the mark of the beast, by the way.
Because if it was, you would not be able to use a religious exemption. Think about it. Think about it. They're going to allow you a religious exemption to not take the shot. When this mark of the beast says it's going to be for who? Those both small, great, rich, poor, free, bond.
Exactly. All the way across the board. Right? Give me Revelation 13. We're going to go here. Oh, perfect. 13 and 16. Matter of fact, 15.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And he causes all.
Causes who?
All.
All. Read.
Both small and great. Rich and poor.
So small and great. So to the person that you consider nothing, to the person that you think is great. Read.
Both small and great. Rich and poor.
So whether you got money or you don't have money. Read.
Free and bond.
So whether you in prison or you out on the streets. Read.
To receive the mark in their right arm, hand, or in their forehead.
Or where?
In their forehead.
Or in their forehead. Read.
And that no man might buy or sell, except he have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
Right? So the whole thing is we not going to be able to buy or sell. So they put this stuff on TV to say, look, the grocery shelves is empty. Look at Walmart, it ain't got nothing in it. Right? All of these different things, then we go crazy over tissue. Oh, I ain't seen nobody get full of tissue yet. Oh, tissue, we go crazy over tissue. Makes absolutely no sense. But again, don't take the shot. It's not the mark of the beast, but don't take it. I want to clarify that because I know somebody will. He's saying to take. No, don't take the shot. Take your herbs, and as we see today, if you eat properly, you can avoid it all. Remember, digging our own graves with spoons and forks. Y'all think it's ironic that a spoon looked like a shovel? A little shovel? Well, dig. Yeah. But when you're doing this, you're digging your own grave. We're going to see some stuff. So, if hunger sets in, let's see something. Give me Genesis 47, verse 14.
Genesis chapter 47 and verse 14. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they brought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when the money failed.
It did what?
And when the money failed.
And when the money failed, y'all think we like close to a time where the money gonna fail? And when the money failed, read.
In the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread.
Do what?
Give us bread. For why should we die in your presence?
For what?
For why should we die in your presence?
Read.
For the money failed. And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle, if the money failed. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph. And Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses.
And did what?
And Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses.
So in order to feed themselves, what do they have to do right here? So what would that be equivalent to today? Houses, cars, whatever it is, property, whatever it be that you got, you would exchange it for this. Read.
And for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herd, and for the donkeys. And he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, we will not hide it from my master, how that our money is spent. My master also hath our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my master, but our bodies and our land.
But our what?
But our bodies and our land.
So now, what are they selling? They're selling themselves in order to do what? To eat. Let that sink in. They sold themselves in order to eat. Does that even seem possible for one of us in this day and age?
Yes.
That you would sell yourself to eat?
Therefore shall we die before your eyes, both we and our land. Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh. And give us seed, that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. So the Egyptians sold every man his field.
You did what?
The Egyptians sold every man his field.
So they sold their fields, they sold their property, they sold everything in order to feed themselves, in order to eat. Keep that in mind. Get me Revelation chapter 8, verse 7.
The book of Revelation, chapter 8, and verse 7. The first messenger sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. They were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all green grass.
And what?
And all green grass.
So read it back from the top again.
The first messenger or angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. And there were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees was burnt up.
And the what?
And the third part of the trees was burnt up.
So if the third part of the trees are burned up, what is that trying to show us?
There's no vegetation. No vegetables, no crops.
No crops. So the third part of the trees are burned up. This means not just regular trees like most of us is thinking, but fruit trees. Trees that's got herbs and everything in them. The third part of these trees are going to be burned up. So what does that mean for man? Read.
And all green grass was burnt up.
And all what?
Green grass was burnt up.
And all green grass was burnt up. What does that mean? So you say, well, we don't need no fruit and vegetables. We can just eat the animals. What do the cows and they eat? What do they eat? So that means they're going to die. You see where this is going? You see where this is going? All this stuff is going to die. Revelation 6 and 6.
Revelation 6 and 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny.
For what?
For a penny.
What does that mean? A measure of wheat for a penny. Absolutely. So you would be working a full day for a measure of wheat. It's like a loaf of bread or something. Full. So you make $20 an hour, and it will take you a full day to be able to buy one loaf of bread. That means stuff is scarce, right? It's got to be scarce because he already told you that a third of the trees going to be burned up. And all of the green grass, this is including wheat, all of these different things going to be burned up. So now it is scarce. Now, how would gluttony turn to wrath? Exactly. So if I know that you and your family got food in your house, we starving, eventually, what do you think the people next door to you and across the street from you is going to do? They coming. Wrath is the next one we'll And he coming. Right? Get me Revelations chapter 12, about verse 15.
Revelation 12:15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
With what?
With the remnant of her seed,
Was do what?
which keep the commandments of Elohim.
What verse I had you start at?
15.
Jump down and go back to about verse 13.
Verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness.
It's a where?
The wilderness.
Read.
Into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time.
How long is this? 3.5 years. So he said he's going to take her to be what? Nourished. What does that mean? Fed, right? He says, I'm going to take this woman and I'm going to put her in this wilderness and I'm going to nourish her for 3.5 years. How long is the tribulation?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. Read on.
And half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman.
It did what?
The earth helped the woman.
So this is this group. It says the earth helped this group that he took and put them into the wilderness to nourish them for 3.5 years. Read.
And the earth helped the woman. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, with which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
With what?
The remnant of her seed,
Which do what?
which keep the commandments of Elohim.
Wait a minute. So it's a group that's in here that's protected, being fed, right? Then it says it's another group that do what?
Keep the commandments.
So why they not protected? They keep the commandments, right? But they not in the group that's protected. Why is that? Anybody want to take a stab at it? Again, we got one group that's protected for 3.5 years, and then there's another group that keeps the commandments, but they not protected. What you got?
With the first group in Philadelphia and all of them, maybe another one in the congregation that have to go through that tribulation and turmoil to do brother your sister's love.
Exactly. So it's a group that's keeping the law, but they keep it what? The letter of the law. So what is we supposed to have been resetting for the last 2 weeks to do? Reflection, right? Trying to get ourselves right. Everybody's afraid of the mark of the beast because it's about eating, right? But if you don't get these things right, you will be one of these people that keep the commandments, but still gotta go through these things. So guess what? Your very fear is gonna come on you if you don't get these things that you were supposed to be doing for the last 2 weeks out of your heart. You're gonna be faced with it. The testimony meaning you know about it, right? I fully know, a lot of people fully know what's going on, but it still ain't there. See what I'm saying? It still ain't there. So it's again, these people, a lot of people, that's why a lot of people brag, oh, I keep the law. You know what I'm saying? I don't steal, I don't kill, I don't eat pork, I don't do this. Scribes and Pharisees can brag on that. It's the spirit part of the law, right? So again, we think that talking about people, because it's no law that say, you shall not talk about people. We think this is okay, and it's cool. It's cool to get on the phone and, you know what I'm saying, and talk about people and pride, right? Which I know a lot of y'all are going to do a little bit later. But what do you think? You're going to be in error. Just think when you're doing it, you're putting yourself in the position to be one of these people that's got to face doom. Think about it. Before you get on that phone and do it, I'm helping myself to be one of these people. Think about it. Read that one more time.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood.
So somebody might be wondering what this is. The serpent cast out of his mouth as a flood. This is the serpent commanding. This flood is an army that's coming after people. So we say it's a sea of people, right? But the sea is moving this case. So it's compared to a flood. Read.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away in the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth, and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
So there was another people that was swallowed up. Anybody know about them? Korah and them was swallowed up. Korah, number 16. They were swallowed up. Same thing's going to happen to this army as Satan sends after the people. He's going to swallow them up. Read.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim, and have the testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach.
And have what?
The testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach.
Have the testimony of Mashiach. Give me Luke chapter 12. Pick it up at verse 22.
Luke 12 and 22. And he said unto his disciples, therefore I say to you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat.
Do what?
What you shall eat.
He says, take no thought for your life. Read.
What you shall eat.
What you what?
What you shall eat.
What you shall eat, the very thing everybody's afraid about. Take no thought for your life and what you shall eat. Read.
For the body, what you shall put on. The life is more than meat, and the body is more than raiment. Consider the ravens.
Consider what?
The ravens.
He said, consider the ravens. Read.
But they neither sow nor reap.
They what?
They neither sow nor reap.
They don't sow, nor do they reap. Read.
Which neither have storehouse nor barn. And Elohim feeds them.
He do what?
Elohim feeds them.
He feed a scavenger, a raven. But find it ironic that he mentions a raven. What y'all can think of significant with a raven? What'd you say?
Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark. What did the raven do in that?
Flew out and didn't come back.
Flew out but didn't come back. Why did he come back?
Because he dead stuff already. He's already
He's a scavenger, so it was out eating all the dead bodies that's decaying. through the world, but they come back. Right? Hold that, but let's see something else. Give me 1 Kings 17. Pick it up at verse 1.
Isaiah. Sheesh. 1 Kings 17 and 1. And Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as Yahuwah Elohim of Israel live, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain in these years, but according to my word. And the word of Yahuwah came unto him, saying,
So if it ain't no dew or rain, go back, boom. Read.
get thee hence, turn you eastward, hide yourself by the brook, Cherith, that is by Jordan. That is before Jordan. And it shall be that you shall drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed you there.
He commanded who?
The ravens to feed you there.
Wow. So he says, I feed the ravens, which neither sow nor reap. He sent the raven out to go at Noah's ark, right? But here, he got a raven feeding the prophet. What's significant with that?
Well, I'm thinking it's an unclean bird, like you said, it's also a scavenger. Go for like probably something dead. Bring it back to them.
But it's a scavenger. It eats whatever. But, what you got?
My translation, it actually say like the Arabian or the Arabians.
The who?
You say that the Arabians. That's what it say.
Yeah, it go back to them as well, because he compared them to eagles as well. So, still, look at it. We're going to read it for what it is right here, right? The ravens. What you got?
You was asking what's significant of the story with Noah and this story here?
Yes, the raven. Why the raven? To feed the prophet. And he showed us something in Luke about, he specifically mentioned the raven in Luke. We're going to go back to it. Okay. Anybody study the raven and see how they act?
Very intelligent birds.
So, the raven kicks his own babies out at about 5 to 6 weeks and let them go on their own to scavenge and to do what they're doing. But in this case, let's see something. Read from where you left off.
And the ravens shall feed you there. Verse 5. So he went and did according unto the word of Yahuwah. For he went and dwelt by the brook of Cherith.
Oh, what you got?
But is it that he's using something unexpected in a way that it shows that it's Yah, not a way that we could do it, not a way that we be used to doing it. You wouldn't look to the raven because we don't eat them.
Absolutely.
So that's something that society casts off as a dirty bird, but Yah is using that to show that we have to depend on him.
And it's showing that even this bird, which is controlled by his belly, is obedient to Yah. It's controlled, it's a scavenger. This is what it does. But it's being used by Yah. It's under obedience. Us as his people, which is not a beast, which is not supposed to be controlled by our belly, won't obey him. See that? That's horrible. Finish that up.
And it came to pass, verse 6. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and
what his belly telling him to do. It's following Yah's orders. It's going against its own nature to do this. Hold that. Let's go back to Luke. Yep, Luke 12, pick it up where you left off.
Luke chapter 12, at verse 24. Consider the ravens, for they neither sow nor reap, which neither have storehouse nor barn, and Elohim feed them. How much more are you better than the fowls? And which of you, when taking one thought, can add to his stature 1 cubit?
Jump down to verse 29.
Verse 29. And seek not you what you shall eat, or what you shall drink, neither be you of a doubtful mind.
Be what?
Of a doubtful mind.
So he says, stop worrying about what you're going to eat and drink. Again, this is what everybody really afraid of the mark of the beast is about. The belly.
Yo.
Somebody at this door. One moment. What you got?
That's something that is in Job 3, I think that's 25, talks about that.
What you got?
It talks about that, how you, the thing that you're fearing the most is going to come upon you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we don't get this brotherly love, all of the evil, backbiting, and all that stuff out your heart, just because you keep the commandments, don't mean nothing. You still gonna have to go through it. Your own stuff is gonna bring this on you. Again, this stuff ain't light. It's gonna bring it on you. You're gonna be one of these people. None of us ain't never been straight up starving. We might say it, but we haven't been. Oh man, I ate just this morning. Ooh, that ain't nothing. Try a couple of days and you didn't choose to fast. Try a couple, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be really, really rough. But it's gonna be self-inflicted. Same way, I keep telling everybody. What you going through, it is self-inflicted. When you get tired of hurting yourself, it'll stop. Right? Pick it up at 29 again.
And seek you not what you shall eat or what you shall drink, neither be you of a doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after.
Do what?
Do the nations of the world seek after.
He said the nations of the world seek after. This don't supposed to be us. Read.
And your Father knows that you have need of these things.
He know already that we need food, water, shelter. He know this already. Right? Read.
Would rather seek you the kingdom of Elohim.
Do what?
Would rather seek you the kingdom of Elohim.
Seek you the kingdom of Yah. Read.
And all these things shall be added unto you.
So if you actually seek his kingdom, and if you're actually doing this and you're not falling under the sin of lust, under pride, under greed, under gluttony, under envy, if you're not doing these things, guess what? You won't have to worry. But the reason why most of us in here are afraid and scared right now is because you're doing it. You're doing it. We talk about it all the time and we still go right back and do it. That's the reason why your heart beat a little bit faster. Because you know you've been doing it. It's going to get you. Isaiah 55 and 6.
knew Isaiah was gonna come up.
Boy, a prophet.
Isaiah 55 and verse 6. Seek you Yahuwah while he may be found.
While he what?
While he may be found.
That means at some point, it's going to be what? It's going to be cut off for you to find him. Remember, Noah's Ark, once that door closed, what did that mean?
Oh,
Too late. He says, seek me while I may be found. This means I'm still here with the hand out waiting for you. But at some point, he'll take his hand away and close that door. Again, we got to start thinking about it. We got to start thinking about it. Read that from the top again.
seek you Yahuwah while he may be found. Call you upon him while he is near.
While he's what?
Near.
While he is near. Seek you the kingdom of heaven first, and all these things shall be added unto you. And seek him while he may be found. At some point, the door going to be closed, and you're not going to be able to find him. Philippians chapter 3, 18. So one more time, what's the difference between man and beast? It's what? Natural affection,
Without natural affection.
self-control. And the beast is controlled by what?
Instinct.
Instincts to do what? Eat. And need more food for its infant. So remember, a beast doesn't care that lion doesn't care that I'm about to kill the wildebeest, new baby. They don't care. They don't have this natural affection. All it is knows that I gotta eat, and I gotta kill you in order to eat, and I gotta kill them in order to feed my babies, right? This is supposed to be what man don't operate under, because man is supposed to have control, natural affection, right? Philippians 3 and 18.
Philippians chapter 3 and verse 18. For many walk, of whom I have told you often, and now tell you even weeping, that they are the enemies of the state of Mashiach.
The enemy of what?
Of the state of Mashiach.
Read.
Whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly.
Whose what?
Whose God is their belly.
He say, they Elohim is they what?
Belly.
What are these people controlled by?
The belly God.
The belly God. The same thing that everybody is afraid of. He said these people is controlled by it. It's their God. Read that verse again.
Whose end is destruction.
It is what?
Destruction. Whose Elohim is their belly, and whose esteem is in their shame.
It is in what?
Their shame.
It is in their shame.
Who mind earthly things.
Who do what?
Who mind earthly things.
Who minds earthly things. So he said that these people's God is their belly. Again, we've been brought up in a society. Let's eat. Let's go to the all-you-can-eat buffet. Anybody ever been?
Sunday after Sunday.
Every Sunday. Old country buffet. You know what I'm saying? Pot or roll stuff.
And you're hungry hungry right now thinking about it. Woo-wee. So, on that day when you know that you're going, because y'all done planned it out, and we going to the all-you-can-eat buffet
Golden Corral.
tomorrow, right? So you say, I ain't eating nothing. I ain't eating nothing till I get there. So you go in there planning on gorging yourself.
Fire.
Right? Ain't this the plan?
That's a fact. Go there with an empty stomach.
Empty, I'm going in here and I'm going to gorge myself. Oh my goodness. After unloosen the pants up in order to sit there. Right? The greed is there. Hey, you got your bag?
By the way, we done paid $10. Once you get your first round and you full, you're going to sit there for a minute, you're going to let your food digest. You're going to burp. As soon as you burp, you're going to get you another round. Then we, grab the purse for the chicken.
Exactly. So now, because you're not supposed to take none of it home, now you just got into stealing. Right? And you were stealing. Why? The belly God made you do it.
Not that you ain't got nothing at home.
Exactly. You that hungry? You that hungry? But again, we've been taught these things, and this is what this world is doing. Y'all think the people that's behind the scenes that control the food, you think they love you?
Absolutely. To death.
Exactly, they don't. They're trying to make you kill yourself. Think about it. We're going to see it though. So again, so now just think about you being a kid at home again, and you ordered a pizza, right? And everybody was eating the pizzas, and then it got down to the last slice, and everybody looked at each other and was like, right? You trying to get it before no! Fighting over the last piece of, y'all know about it, right? Fighting over the last piece, the belly God is a monster. Exactly. So you control by your belly, you become what? A beast. You become a beast. You become no better than the animals. And if it come down to it, you will take your own brother out over it. So, we went to the story of Joseph, right? What does Joseph represent when he's back there? What is he a picture of? Or who is he a picture of? Mashiach, right? So let's go back there for a second. Go back to Genesis chapter 47. This time pick it up at verse 12.
Genesis chapter 47 and verse 12. And Joseph nourished his father.
He did what?
Nourished his father.
What does nourish mean? Fed them. So he said in Revelations he's going to take a certain coop and do what with them?
Nourish them.
Nourish them. Read.
And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren and all his father's household with bread according to their families. And there was no bread in all the land.
And what?
There was no bread in all the land.
So notice, everybody that's down with Joseph, and Joseph is a representation of Mashiach, right? Do they have anything to worry about?
No.
Is the famine, is any of that stuff affecting them?
No.
It's not. But right after they confess their sins, what they did to him, this is when this takes place. Right? Go back and read it. Right after they confess their faults to him, Now they get to come into his house and they not affected by what's going on outside with everybody else. The same thing will be with us. If we doing what we're supposed to be doing, the famine won't affect us. Right? Because it's coming. And our own actions determine where we will be at when the famine comes. What we doing? Okay. Read that again.
Verse 12. And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren and all his father's household with bread according to their families. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore.
It was what?
Very sore.
It was very sore. Read.
So that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine.
By what?
By reason of the famine.
By reason of the famine. But notice again, Joseph, everybody that's down with Joseph is not affected by it. They confessed their sins, came clean with it, and they was taken care of. But again, this sin is social status. Let's get Luke chapter 17, verse 26. Verse 26.
Luke chapter 17 and verse 26. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man.
So he's letting us know that what was going on in Noah's days is going to come back in the end. Nothing new under the sun. It's all going to play back out again. Read.
They did eat.
They did what?
They did eat.
Now notice, he mentioned it. They did what?
They did eat.
They did eat. Read.
They did drink.
They did drink. Read.
They married wives. They were given in marriage.
So when you marry wives, what comes with that?
You got kids to feed.
And on the wedding day, what happens?
Big feast.
Feast and stuff, right? But he mentioning these things. This is the first thing he mentioned it after mentioning it as it was in the days of Noah. He come up with the food thing. First thing off the bat. This is what he going to. But we read over it like, dang, what? But it's letting us know this got something to do with food. Read.
Until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise also, as it was in the days of Lot.
So now he's tying in both events. Before the flood and Sodom and Gomorrah. Read.
They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold.
Same thing again. They did eat, they did drink, buying and selling. All the stuff is, again, right here. So again, when we think of Sodom and Gomorrah, what comes to mind?
I would just think what you were saying, Ezekiel 16:49.
That's where we're going. That's where we're going. But usually, the homosexual thing is the first thing that comes to mind. And that is the biggest part. But it was the other stuff that went on. Go there. Ezekiel 16:49.
Ezekiel chapter 16 at verse 49. Behold, this was the iniquity of your sister Sodom.
This was what?
This was the iniquity of your sister Sodom.
What is iniquity again? It's what? Hidden sins, the working, the covering it up, right? So they had a bunch of sin that they was working to cover it up. Read.
Pride, fullness of bread.
What is it?
Pride, fullness of bread.
Fullness of bread. What does that mean?
Sufficient.
It was overeaten because he was full. This is one thing that we should never get full. When we eating, we should never eat till we are full. When you eat till you are full, you are stretching your stomach. So when you stretch your stomach, it's going to require more the next time. Right? That's what's happening. That's how you can go from eating a little bit to a whole bunch to a lot, and you keep expanding your stomach. Read.
Pride, fullness of bread.
Pride, fullness of bread, gluttony, read.
The abundance of idleness.
So what?
The abundance of idleness.
Sloth. So when we do this, what is food supposed to do for us?
Give us energy.
Give us what?
Energy.
Give us energy. It's supposed to nourish us. But why when we eat, it give us the itis? Is the food doing the opposite of what it's supposed to do?
It's doing too much.
That means something wrong.
Man, do you know that some of these diseases or whatever they end with itis, colonitis, and we done took it and coined the phrase.
Absolutely.
We got the itis. We know something wrong with us.
Yes. Food is supposed to be fuel. It is supposed to push you along and get you through. But what we eat takes our energy away from us and sit back and go to sleep. That's your idleness. That means you didn't do nothing to get rid of what you just ate. So all of them calories that you just ate went in there and your body was working overtime trying to get rid of it. Yeah.
All right, so the word itis, the actual definition, it says forming names of inflammatory diseases. Informal, used with references to a tendency or state of mind that is compared to a disease.
Wow. And we readily admit, I got the itis. All the time, right? Because we sit around eating to the full stuff that we should not be eating. So, again, so you have an internal fire within you that's burning, right? So we gotta look at the food that we eat, right? So when we used to be at Traveling House or at Raya House, we'd make a fire in the backyard. And we would get some wood, and the wood would be still wet inside, right? Because it's still green. And we'd throw it in the fire, and it would be hard for it to burn, right? Think about your own body. When we eat bad stuff that we shouldn't be eating, think about it just like that wood. It is hard to burn. So if it's hard to burn, what we had to do to get it to burn? We would go and add something. We would go get some lighter fluid or something. Gas to try to get it to burn. So when we eating the bad stuff, what do? We go and get diet pills or something. That would be your lighter fluid or your gas to try to get it to go. But it only sparks for a little while and go right back. It's the same exact thing. So when we eat bad, our body, we shouldn't be actually eating after like 9 o'clock. A lot of people say 7. But you really shouldn't be eating after this time. Because when you eat after this time, now your body gotta digest it. But while you're supposed to be resting, your organs are not resting. They working all night. They in there working, trying to get rid of what you just put in there, the terrible stuff that you just put in there. Your organs is up all night. That's why it's called break fast, because you're supposed to be fasting. While you're doing this, your body's supposed to be in recovery mode. How can it be in recovery mode when you got it working? You sleep, but your organs not.
And you wake up tired.
Exactly. So again, digging our own graves, spoons and forks. This is the sin that a lot of people have blamed Yah for. So when Auntie Mabel and Uncle Harold died from cancer or something, the people will turn and blame Yah and say, my grandma was the nicest woman in the world. She helped so many people and she just did this. And what did she die from? She died from cancer, diabetes, heart, blood pressure, stuff. How did your grandmother eat? Oh, I mean, she ate her, she had her pork chops and stuff. Oh. So did Yah kill your grandmother, or your auntie, or Uncle Harold? Or did they do it? They did it. So a lot of times we sit up and say, how many times we talk to our family members and say, you don't supposed to eat that pork? Boy, I ain't not giving up my ribs. I'm not going to do that. I got to die from something. You doing it. Even though they don't know it, you did this to yourself. Right? All these women at my job, their ankles is same exact size as their thighs and knees. And you wobbling and doing this. And they eating horrible. For breakfast, they eating stuff that we shouldn't eat, period. They doing this stuff, man. They killing themselves. So everybody that says that you can't make it for committing suicide, when we eating like what we eating, guess what you doing? You committing suicide. You just doing it over a long period of time, a slow death. Over a slow death. That's what we actually doing. Read that verse in Ezekiel, right? Read that again.
Behold, this was the iniquity of your sister Sodom. Pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness was in her and in her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor.
Of the what?
Of the poor.
Wasn't worried about nobody else. She was eating good, but you look down on the poor. Now, how does this sin fit into the pride category? Because it's definitely one from pride. How does it fit into the pride category? But okay, you on the right line.
Put your desires before the Most High, what He has intended for.
Absolutely. So it is a selfish sin, right? Pride is about what? Self, right? So when you eating the way that you're eating, you don't realize that one day you're going to be a burden to somebody, right? You're going to be a burden to somebody. Meaning the food that you're eating is eventually going to make you sick. It's eventually going to give you these diseases, these things with your heart, and things with your liver, because your liver is taking a beating when we eating bad. And eventually, you're going to be a burden to somebody. and you're going to mess their life up, and you're going to hold them back, right? So we see a lot of people don't do it. They get rid of their parents and put them in a home, which is, again, terrible. So if you could take this person that was waddling and they got themselves super obese, if you could take this back and say, right as they about to start it, 30 years prior to this, and show them the future, if you keep eating what you're eating, and you keep getting the itis on a daily, you keep going to this smorgasbord, and you keep doing this, this is what you're going to be 30 years from now. Do you think they would stop? But we don't think it's going to get there in the first place. This only applies to other people, not me. I'm never going to get like that. So you watch my 600-pound life and you think, this person weighs 600 plus pounds. How did they get here? You didn't stop at 300. You didn't. Goodness, you just jumped up to 350. At some point it seemed like it would click in, right? But it don't. Just like with the other sins, all common sense goes out the window. So, when we eating bad stuff, you ever heard somebody say, man, I just can't stop eating this broccoli. Man, them carrots and them this and the fruit. You ever heard somebody say, I just can't stop eating it, bro? But the other stuff, the bad stuff, you hear it all the time. So when you eat them chips, we're being controlled by the two white devils, which is sugar and salt. Ironically, they look just alike. And you can't tell them apart. But these are the two things that man is addicted to the most. And this goes all across the board. Right? All across the board. Give me Proverbs 23. No, sir. We're not talking about Esau. We're talking about what we need. Proverbs 23 and 1.
Proverbs chapter 23 and 1. When you sit to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what's before you.
Now, this is directly talking about sitting in front of a ruler. He broke this down really, really good a couple months back. And I want you to say, it says, consider diligently what is before you. So every time you eat, what should you really do? Consider what is before you. So we eat hot Takis. We eat Cheetos. We eat all of this different stuff. Junk food, snack food, and all of this stuff. You should consider what is before you. And think about it. This is process. I'm taking a little bit of my life off. You ever thought about it in this way? So it's just like a child being disobedient and disrespectful to your parents. It says, honor your mother, your father and your mother, that your days may be long. If you disrespect your parents, what are you actually doing? You shorten your days. Consider what is before you. When you eat wrong and bad, guess what you're really doing? Now, if you had your days put in a big bucket and they showed you, you got 10,530 days. and you was eat bad, every day you look in there and you see, dang, we scratching my days off. Would you stop?
Yes, sir.
But that's exactly what's happening.
Give or take a couple of days, I can afford it.
Yeah. I can get them back though. I probably can get them back. This the brain, that's how it works. I somehow can get them back though. Yeah, but see again, if we can see it in the big bucket, oh my goodness, that just, them Cheetos and that stuff I ate this morning and that Coke and that this, man, that just took off 50 days. Oh, I'm gonna stop this, man. Tell the belly God, take control. Oh, I can spare a few. Consider what is before you. Consider it. Think about it. But we really don't. Read that again.
When you sit to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before you, and put a knife to your throat, if you be a man given to appetite.
He says, put a knife to your throat if you be a man given to appetite. That means if your belly takes control of you, and it makes you do what you know you should do. How many times we was eating donuts or whatever it be, and you eat the one, and you say, I'm going to have just one. And you end up eating the whole thing. Oh, I might as well, I done ate 3 of them, I might as well knock the rest of them off.
Hell of a boy. He ain't chewing no more. The whole roll Oreo. And it gotta be a line of right. I can't just leave it in the aisle.
So, when you look at the serving will say 2 cookies, and the serving will be 200 calories from the 2 cookies. You just said and ate the whole roll. You just sent your organs in a tailspin. They don't know what. Wait a minute. Oh my God, slow down. I don't know what to do with it.
We can't hire enough people in here for that.
So now the organs don't know what to do. They can't get rid of it fast enough. So they start taking the fat. I gotta throw it here. I gotta throw it under the neck. I gotta throw it here. I gotta throw it on this woman's hips and thighs. Oh, I gotta like that so much. Yeah, remember, don't go from the Coke bottle to a 2 and 3 liter. Right? Remember, after 30 is, yeah, you don't know.
So they working out and say, oh, I'm losing my hips.
Yeah, exactly. So the body don't know what to do with this fat, so it start putting it in different places because it can't get rid of it, but it don't know what to do. This is in turn making your organs have to work way harder than they supposed to be working. Again, so now we get these high blood pressure, diabetes, and all of these different things that come along with it. And we the #1 people that die from this stuff. Right? Because it's targeted to us in the first place. Just like cocaine and opium and weed and all these different things are addictive, the food is the same way. Has us addicted. We thinking about what we gonna eat all day. Right? What's gonna be for dinner? Some of us write it out for the week. What we gonna eat? Whole thing. Because we being controlled by the belly. He says, consider what is before you. And the more you do this, the more you stretch your stomach. Then when you don't do nothing to get rid of it, it's making you worse and worse and worse. So, finish this sentence for me. The way to a man's heart is, wow. Who thought of that? The way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
When you finish. He ain't saying don't know how to cook. Know how to cook. Just know what to cook. They be like, well, I'm saying we ain't gotta know how to cook. They supposed to be eating fruits all day. They don't know how to cook.
You gotta know how to cook.
So this is something that's actually known, right? This has been a big thing. This is again why a lot of quote unquote single women post food. It's like the spider. Lure them in. Look at this good old stuff I can make. I can make chops and macaroni and cheese and dressing. Yep, all of the stuff lures the man in. She got to be able to cook. Again, not being able to cook is not the thing. Or being able to cook, it's what to cook. But it says, if a man is given to his appetite, he should put a knife to his neck. Right? Can y'all think of anybody that was given to their appetite? Who? Esau. That's one person that was given to his appetite.
Oh, Cain. Had to be. He had to be. He ate everything before he gave him more time.
He kept it back for himself.
He kept it back. Absolutely. Let's see it in a direct form. Give me Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. Genesis 2:15.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 15. And Yahuwah Elohim took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Yahuwah Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat.
You may what?
Freely eat.
You may freely eat. So when you freely eat fruit and vegetables, weight don't really get on you. Because that is like throwing paper into fire. Paper easily burns when you throw it on the fire. It's the other stuff that don't burn readily and easily. Read.
But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall not eat of it.
You shall what?
You shall not eat of it.
You shall not eat of it. So guess what we like to eat? Everything that we're not supposed to eat. The same exact way. Everything that's bad for us, we love and desire. The good stuff, we don't want to eat it. That's terrible. We still the same way. So children only want to eat stuff that's sweet, right? A couple of them like vegetables sometimes, but for the most part, they don't like it. They only want what is sweet, and that's going to rot their teeth out. But we get to be adults, and it's still pretty much the same thing. Read.
And Yahuwah commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it.
You shall what?
You shall not eat of it.
Why not?
For the day that you eat thereof, You shall surely die.
You shall what?
Surely die.
So Adam and Eve didn't die on that actual day that they ate from the tree, but they died within the 1,000-year parameter. So what was they slowly doing? Slowly dying over a period of time, like we doing to ourselves, slowly decaying and rotting away, taking days off our lives because we're eating what we shouldn't be eating. Gluttony. Genesis chapter 3, verse 4.
Genesis 3 and 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die.
You shall what?
You shall not surely die.
You shall not surely die. So what is the first sin around? Food. The very first sin got something to do with food. The very first one. Read.
For Elohim do know that in the day that you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Knowing what?
Good and evil.
Knowing good and evil. Read.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food,
See what?
she saw that the tree was good for food.
That's why we inundated with commercials. To see it. Everywhere you go, food this, just like with the rest of them. It's a whole network set up for you to commit this sin. TV, commercials, billboards, when you're driving down the street, the smell comes from the restaurants. You jump in there. And even though you just ate, or somebody just come around you with the box of chicken or something, ooh, you just made me hungry. The smell, the senses. When we go through this whole thing right here, you will see that they 5 senses is what got them. Smell, sight, touch, all these things is in this chapter right here. We got them. Same thing today. Slowly they died when they started eating from this tree. They didn't want the one that was good for them, right? We don't want that. It's boring. Nobody will envy me if they see me eating like this. But people will envy me when they see me at Chuck Mueller. They'll envy me when they see me eating at Spargo's. They'll envy me when they see me doing this. Not the good stuff. All go hand in hand. Read.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
And he did what?
And he did eat.
And he did eat. When they ate this, they started their journey to death. Again, everything you eat, you should think about it. Is this clearing me up? Or is this going to help clog my arteries? Is this going to give me a headache? You watched the video, and the lady had shrimp and lobster, shrimp and lobster, crabs and stuff on her plate. And she said it, before she ate it, she says, let me get my 2 Benadryls and let me get my EpiPen ready. She knows before she eat it, she's willing to put her life on the line because she can't stop. Listen at that. Let me get my 2 Benadryls and get my EpiPen ready. She knows she's allergic to it. I got to have my shrimp and my lobster. You can't take that away from me. That sounds absurd, but we all do it every day when we eat the stuff that we eat. Every day. Right? So y'all mentioned Esau, right? Just go there. Genesis 25, 28. Genesis 25, verse 28.
Genesis chapter 25 at verse 28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison.
He loved him because he was super righteous.
And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison.
Wow. You picking your favorite son because you like his meat that he hunt. That's the reason you love him. That's a terrible reason, right? That's my boy there, that boy can hunt. My boy he throw that deer meat on that grill, that's my boy. Not that he's super righteous, but because you eat of his venison, that means Esau was what? He was a meat eater, right? We know this is not just a one-time type of thing with him. This is what he do, right? This is a reoccurring thing. He eats meat, and a lot of it. Read.
But Rebekah loved Jacob, and Jacob side pottage.
He did what?
And Jacob side pottage.
Read.
And Esau came from the field and was faint.
It was what?
And was faint.
He was faint. Read.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray you, with the same red pottage, for I am faint.
I am what?
I am faint.
I am faint. Now, do y'all believe that if he didn't eat right here, that he would die? He's controlled by something.
Jasher said he just killed Nimrod, brother, so he might be smart.
Right. So, read that again.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray you, with the red bloody stable. With the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day your birthright.
Wait a minute. We done a lesson on character before, right? Why do you think Jacob asked him, sell me your birthright? Because this don't even seem like a no-brainer. Like, what? Give you my birthright for some soup? Niggas, you crazy?
He knew he was giving over God's love.
Exactly. It's showing us that Esau was a glutton. And he's controlled off of his belly. So for food, guess what this dude gave up? Gave up Mashiach. He gave up Mashiach. His belly God made him give up Mashiach. It's supposed to be Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. He gave it up over nothing. Yes, he knew.
Abraham told him everything.
Yes, he knew.
He was 40 years old, man.
So I'm saying, this is what I'm trying to show you with the belly God, how powerful it is. This dude gave up Mashiach for a bowl of soup. You see, he would have been better off, like the script say, taking a knife to his throat, killing himself. He'd have been better off. Because he's given to appetite. But he was a meat eater. And the more meat you eat, the more you want. Right? Same thing as a beast. Right? They say when that, like a domesticated type of animal is domesticated and you don't do him this, but once he get a taste of blood, it's a wrap. Right? It's a wrap. Now, this is what I gotta have because I can't go back to kitty litter and this, that, and the third no more. I need that. Same thing with man. You become a beast over it. So when the thought comes up and we say, man, we can't eat chicken. We can't eat beef no more. What happens to everybody?
Dog.
Stop eating
That boy tripping, man. That boy ain't in the law.
So you start fighting and coming up with a way. You can take my meat from me, but you gave up pork chops and stuff, right? Right? We gave it up, right? Showed y'all in the last food lesson that really this stuff ain't no good, because it's in a plant being torn apart and all types of nasty, filthy stuff they doing with it. But this drive us crazy. Ain't no way. Quad be sick, man. Oh, teaching something against what man. Somebody else teaching.
When we go home, we ain't gonna worry about that. You know what I'm saying? We just ain't gonna eat chicken in there.
Consider what is before you. Get that whole thought of just giving it up drive us insane. Ain't no way I'm giving us my stuff up. Go ahead, read verse wherever we left off at.
And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray you, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day your birthright. And Esau said, behold, I'm at the point to die.
I'm at what?
I'm at the point to die.
Read.
And what profit should his birthright do to me?
What profit this birthright gonna do for me? Nothing. You know you really wasn't about to die. But his belly is in control of him. He should have cut his throat over meat, right? Over flesh. Number 16. Pick it up at verse 4.
Numbers chapter 16 and verse 4. And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. And he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, even tomorrow Yahuwah will show who is his, and who is Kodesh, and will cause him to come near unto him, even him whom he hath chosen, will he cause to come near to him. This do, take you census, Korah.
My bad. Get Numbers 11. Numbers 11, my bad. Numbers 11, pick it up at verse 4.
Numbers 11:4. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a-lusting.
They did what?
Fell a-lusting.
Here goes lust. Fell a lusting. Read.
And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat?
Who shall give us what?
Who shall give us flesh to eat?
So think about when somebody say we shouldn't eat meat or chicken or whatever. Think about how you feel about it. How you come up with all types of ways to hold on to it. Right? Read.
We remember the fish.
We remember what?
We remember the fish
Read.
which we did eat in Egypt freely.
How what?
In Egypt freely.
That means they were slaves in Egypt, right? That means they wasn't paying them, right? That must mean Egypt had some kind of welfare plan. That they was giving them the food. Because he said they was eating it freely. Right? Bring it up to the day. Right? Bring it up to the day. Same thing, right? They ate it freely. So the government started giving out checks. Why should I work? They gonna give me a free check. I got a bridge card with such and such on it. This is the sloth. I'm not about to go work. He said if a man don't eat, a man don't work. He shouldn't eat. Right? So they had some kind of welfare system going on. Now, we know through Exodus it says that they made them serve with rigor. Meaning this was hard labor that they was doing. Read.
We remember the fish, which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers, and the melons, and the leeks, and the onions, and the garlic.
Oh, they remember the fish and the leek and the garlic. Boy, them Egyptians knew how to whip that stuff up. Read.
But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all besides this manna.
Besides what?
This manna.
The good stuff that don't have no GMOs in it, that's pure, gluten-free, fat, all of this is perfect. The tree of life stuff right here. They don't want it. They don't want the good stuff. Read.
The manna was as the coriander seed, and the color thereof as the color of bdellium. How you say that?
Bedlam.
Bedlam. And the people went about and gathered it and ground it into mills, or beat it in a mortar, and baked it in pans, and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was the taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. Then Moses heard the people weep throughout their families.
They did what?
Weep throughout their families.
Why they weeping throughout their families? They crying because they don't have meat. They losing their mind because they don't have no meat. Read.
And Moses heard the people weep throughout their families, every man in the door of his tent. And
How many men?
Every man.
Wow. So it was across the board. Read.
Every man in the door of his tent. And the anger of Yahuwah was kindled greatly. Moses also was displeased. And Moses said unto Yahuwah, Wherefore have you afflicted your servant? Wherefore have I not found favor in your sight? Did you lay the burden of all these people on me? Have I conceived all these people? Have I begotten? That you should say to me, carry them in your bosom, as a nursing father bear the suckling child, unto the land which you swore to their fathers. When should I have flesh to give unto all these people? For they weep unto me, saying, Give us flesh that we may eat. Give us flesh that we may eat.
Give us flesh that we may eat. The belly God is in full control. Our people was rather to go back into slavery than to eat the manna. Think about that. I want to go back to Egypt because we don't got no meat. Send me back in slavery under hard, and again, it told us that the treatment was rigorous. It was hard, in the sun, beating on you daily. We would rather go back to that than to eat the manna. Think about how stupid that is. But it's going to come back, as we already seen. Read.
I'm not able to bear all these people alone, because it's too heavy for me. If you deal like this with me, kill me.
Do what?
Kill me.
Moses can't take it. These people on his head, every man in his door weeping and crying, give us flesh to eat. We want them steaks, we want that fish, we want that stuff back. To the point Moses can't take it, he said, Yah, kill me. Let that sink in. This man wanted to die because these people was on his head so bad about this. Read.
I pray you, out of hand, if I have found favor in your sight, let me not see my wretchedness. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, Gather unto thee 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be elders of the people, and officers over them. Bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with you. And I come down and talk with you there. I will take of the ruach which is upon you, and will put it on them.
What verse you at?
17.
Jump to 19.
Verse 19. You shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days nor 20 days.
How many? He said, you're not going to eat it 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days, nor 20 days. How long you going to eat? Read.
But even a whole month.
How long?
But even a whole month.
You're going to eat it for a whole month. This is the meat that they've been dying for, begging for. So he said, you ain't going to just get it 1 day, not 5 days, not this many days. You're going to get it for a month straight. Remember, he's angry with him now. Read.
But even a whole month until it come out of your nostrils.
Tell it do what?
Come out of your nostrils.
You're going to eat it so much that it's going to come out your nostrils. Read.
And it be loathsome unto you, because that you have despised Yahuwah, which is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why came we forth out of Egypt? And Moses said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen.
How many?
600,000 footmen.
He said it's 600,000 footmen. Read.
And you have said, I will give them flesh that they may eat a whole month.
A what?
A whole month.
So Moses is in disbelief. You're going to give them this 600,000 footmen, not to mention the children and the rest of them. Read.
Moses said, the people among who I am are 600,000 footmen. And you have said, I will give them flesh that they may eat a whole month. Shall the flock and the herds be slain for them?
So we're going to have to kill all of the flocks and the herds to be able to do this. Read.
To suffice them? Or shall all the flesh of the sea be gathered together for them?
So he says all of the flesh of the sea to be gathered, because this is a lot of people. Moses right here don't see how this can be done without killing everything that they got and killing everything in the sea. Read.
And Yahuwah said unto Moses, is Yahuwah's hand wax short?
You think I can't do it? You think I can't do it? Read.
You shall see now whether my word shall come to pass unto you or not. And Moses went out and told the people the words of Yahuwah, and gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tabernacle. And Yahuwah came down in a cloud, and spake unto him, and took of the ruach that was upon him, and gave it unto the 70 elders. And it came to pass that when the ruach rested upon them, they prophesied and did not cease. But there remained 2 of the men in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad, and the name of the other was Medad. And the ruach rested upon them, and they were of them that were written, but went not out unto the tabernacle, and they prophesied in the camp.
Jump down to verse 30.
Verse 30. And Moses got him into the camp, he and the elders of Israel. And there went forth a wind from Yahuwah.
A what?
A wind from Yahuwah.
So a wind comes forth from Yah. Read.
And brought quails from the sea.
It did what?
Brought quails from the sea.
It brought quails from the sea. You know these little things that look like small chickens. Right? Read.
And let them fall by the camp.
Let them do what?
Fall by the camp.
Read.
As it were a day's journey on this side.
What is it?
As it were a day's journey on this side.
So these quails have been traveling for a whole day, fighting against a wind from Yah. Right? Read.
Round about the camp, as it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. And the people stood up all that day.
They did what?
The people stood up all that day.
Read.
And all that night.
All that what?
All that night.
All that day and all that night, and did what?
And all the next day. And they gathered the quails. He that gathered least gathered 10 omers. And they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp.
So, what is this a picture of right here? This is your first buffet. all day and all night, all you can eat, because y'all done supplied it, because this is what you were begging for. And I'm going to give you over to what you desire. Right? So they got it in abundance right now. But again, these birds was fighting against the wind. They traveling for a whole day to get there, fighting against the wind. So they are exhausted. Think about it. Read.
And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, whenever it was chewed, the wrath of Yahuwah was kindled against the people, and Yahuwah smote the people with a very great plague.
With a what?
A very great plague.
What is this plague? What does a plague mean? Sickness. With a plague, they just ate a whole bunch of meat, right?
I was just looking it up as far as the 10 homers. It said it's equivalent to about 1,900 birds weighing about 475 pounds.
Wait, say that one time.
He said it's equivalent, 10 homers is equivalent to about 1,900 birds weighing about 470 pounds on it.
That was the least though.
That was the least, right?
Exactly, that was the least. What are they being controlled by?
Belly.
Belly. Read where you left off at.
And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, ever it was chewed, the wrath of Yahuwah was kindled against the people. And Yahuwah smote the people with a very great plague.
With a what?
A very great plague.
With a very great plague. Hold that. Get Deuteronomy 28:59.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 59. Then Yahuwah will make your plagues wonderful, and the plague of your seed, even great plagues, of long countenance.
Of long what?
Long countenance.
And
Make
what?
continuance, I'm sorry. Salakia. That's how you say it. Of long continuance and sore
And
sickness.
sore what?
And sore sickness.
Wow. Is we sick today from food stuff? Wow. And most of it, we did it. Read.
And sore sickness and a long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon you all the diseases of Egypt.
All the what?
All the diseases of Egypt.
All of the diseases of Egypt. Again, heartache and what's these? Heart disease and diabetes. These things ain't in here, but they come from what we eat, from what we consuming, and we think that meat is the main dish. We call the other stuff sides, when they should actually be the main dish. And every once in a while, we should have a piece of meat. Everything is in reverse. And we killing ourselves. Read.
Moreover, I will bring upon all the diseases of Egypt which you were afraid of, and they shall cleave to you. Also every sickness.
Every what?
Every sickness.
Every sickness. We get sick from this stuff more than anybody else. I wonder why. We don't supposed to be doing it. Read.
Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law.
Which is what?
Which is not written in the book of this law.
Read.
Then will Yahuwah bring upon you until you be destroyed.
Until you what?
Until you be destroyed.
Until you be destroyed. We are destroying ourselves with our own spoons and forks because we don't even consider what we eat or nothing. And we don't sit and know it and do it anyway. Know it and do it anyway. That's horrible. Go back to Numbers. Pick it up where you left off.
Verse 34, Numbers 11:34. And he called the name of that place Kibroth Hattaavah,
Yeah. See?
because there they buried the people that lusted.
They did what?
They buried the people that lusted.
They buried the people that lusted. Let you know a whole bunch of people got diseased and died. The same thing. We bringing diseases on ourselves from what we eat. We're doing it to ourselves. So now, let's see what the things are that's so bad. This is the top 10 list
Coming in at number 10.
that's killing us. Read.
Food dies.
What is it?
Food dies.
Food dies. That is the things that we're looking at. We're talking about, oh, that's yellow 40 and green 90 and all that different stuff, right? Say food dies. Read.
Including, oh, you can read all that.
Yep.
For many years, there has been a controversy surrounding the use of food dyes. Many studies show many dyes adversely affect laboratory animals. As a result, government agencies have banned several times. The Food and Drug Administration has approved 9 food dyes for the U.S., including red number 3, red number 40, yellow number 5, and yellow number 6. Health researchers and food safety officials express concerns over their continued use.
Over what?
Over their continued use.
Consider what is before you. So next time you see these things, this is the number 10 spot that will kill you. Consider what is before you. Click to the next one.
Microwave popcorn.
This is number 9. Remember, we like things convenient. We like things quick and fast, right? Read a little bit about it.
Popcorn is a fiber-rich, low-fat, healthy snack, but it comes with some caveats. The lining of the bag used to make microwave popcorn contains pure perfluorinated compounds, PFCs,
Now, why would they do that?
to resist grease and prevent leaking. PFCs also exist in Teflon pans, pizza boxes, sandwich wrappers. These PFCs break down into a chemical some researchers believe cause cancer.
Cause what?
Cancer.
Causes cancer. Go to the next one. Number 8.
Coming in at number 8, red meat.
Ooh, red meat is the number 10 killer of people. Read.
Studies show eating more than 18 ounces of red meat per week can increase the chance of colorectal cancer.
What kind of cancer?
Colorectal cancer. Colon cancer. Some studies also link processed meats with a higher incidence of colon cancer. Doctors suggest introducing meat-free days.
Doing what?
Meat-free days.
What kind of days?
Meat-free days.
But that's the main dish. It shouldn't be. The sides should be the main dish. Read.
Doctors suggest introducing meat-free days and generally cutting back on the amount of red meat consumed. People should avoid overcooking red meat, which produces chemicals that may increase the risk of colorectal cancer. Coming in at number 7, salt-cured and pickled foods.
Ooh, I love my pickles.
Dang, pickled ginger, Donnie.
My pickled eggs.
Extension.
Read.
Cancer studies in the United Kingdom note a higher incidence of nasopharyngeal cancer. Sounds like something up in here. Among those who regularly consume salt-cured fish. a popular dish in China, research also indicates that eating pickled foods may increase the risk of stomach cancer. According to the study of American Association for Cancer Research, the journal of the 1 million new cases of gastric cancer diagnosed a year, more than half occurred in Eastern Asia. Researchers noted that 50% greater likelihood of gastric cancer associated with the consumption of pickled foods.
With what?
With pickled foods.
With pickled food. Go to the next one.
That's if you eat a lot of it or just.
That's all it is. You allow all of it.
You have what he's saying is consider what you eat.
Everything about it.
Salt cured and pickled foods. Not just a pickle, but pickled foods.
What you got?
So do that include canned goods?
That's salt cured. Salt cured.
Exactly. Your best bet, what we don't got, is our own gardens. But we too lazy to do it. And we worried about sweet and pretty lawns as opposed to food. Go to the next one.
Number 6, refined carbohydrates and sugars.
Define what?
Carbohydrates and sugars.
I'm cutting down on my carbs. Because carbs is addictive. That's these flours and the starches and all of these things. Rice. All of these different things. Refined and carbohydrated sugars.
Number 6, refined carbs and sugars. People who eat a diet high in refined carbohydrates such as white bread, white rice, pasta, soft drinks, fruit juices.
More white devils.
And none of them are European. All right. And fruit juices are more likely to develop colon cancer than those who consume mostly whole grains and complex carbohydrates such as fresh vegetables and fruits. Studies support that the probability that high blood glucose and insulin levels in the body increase inflammation along with it.
It increase what?
High blood pressure. High blood glucose and insulin levels in the body increase inflammation along with it the risk of cancer.
Inflammation. Most stuff comes from the inflammation. But what causes the inflammation? Mucus. Meat and all of these other bad things causes mucus in you. This is why your knees hurt, your elbows hurt, you're coughing this stuff up because we're eating it in through these different things. And it's killing you. Read number 5.
Coming in at number 5. Dairy.
Dairy.
Iran says that cheese is the devil. I agree.
Cheese, milk, all of these things, dairy. But they got that little triangle on the back of the bread that says this is the food pyramid. And this is what you should be eating. That's a lie. They are out to kill you. They're out to make money because they profit off of you being sick. Right? And they make money when you buy these things from them. But you actually killing yourself when you're consuming these things. Milk makes the body good, make it strong. No, it's killing you. Go to the next one.
Number 4.
About milk, our ancestors drinking it. With our ancestors, our scriptural ancestors drinking milk.
It's the type of milk.
Yeah, because they are, like I was watching these things with older people, and they was talking about the milk back then compared to what it is today. So they are doing the pasteurization of it and taking it through all types of different things. And you're saying we're going to take the fat out of it, right? Low fat milk and skim milk, but you actually taking the stuff out of it that makes it, that had something that was kind of good in it. You killed it with all types of bacteria that they doing. So it's not the same.
Yeah, that's what I wanted you to bring out, because people have, oftentimes think that it's just milk, period. But like if you had your own, I don't know whether our ancestors drank goat milk. What kind of
Goat milk,
what
we
animal,
don't
what
drink.
animal was it that they were getting the milk from?
It mentioned goat milk specifically in there.
Okay, because I know Abraham ate curds,
Yeah.
and then there was.
It was looked at as a delicacy, so it wasn't eaten all the time.
Yeah. Again, that's why again, meat should be the side.
Yeah.
And it should, just like that thing says, it should be meat-free days. This is a hard thing because most of us are addicted to it.
So back to the red meat, what about like, is it specifically like cow or lamb, like all red meat?
All red meats,
Including lamb?
including lamb. You should not.
Oxtails, lambs, rams, hogs, chicken, potatoes, beans, green.
I always heard that lamb not as bad as beef, like cow beef. So that's what I was asking.
And I mean, it got its benefits, but they all, it's moderation. Everything gotta be done in moderation. We overdo. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, every single meal, the meat is the main course. You know what I'm saying? When we barbecue, you might make a couple sides, but the main thing you go into the barbecue for is the meat, the ribs and the steak and the chicken and the, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta, moderate how you eating this stuff.
Chicken is better than red meat.
Not the way that they process the chicken. It's all bad.
It's what I'm trying to tell you. You need to get on your vegetables, fruit. The rest of that stuff, you need to leave it alone.
I was making a point, people think we need meat for protein and stuff like that. They think that's the best form of protein. But people look at the gorillas, they're like the strongest animals in the jungle. But they ain't straight, that's no meat at all.
Exactly. The same animals that we eat, the cow, it got its protein from something else, from plants, and it was eaten. Read.
Number 4, alcoholic beverages.
What is it?
Alcoholic beverages.
Alcoholic beverages.
The number 4 thing that is killing us. Even small amounts of alcohol increase the risk of developing cancer. According to the American Cancer Society, alcohol consumption is linked to 5.6% of all new cancers and 4% of cancer deaths. Heavy or regular alcohol use also increases the likelihood of developing cancer of the mouth, pharynx, larynx, esophagus, liver, colon, and rectum. Genetics play a role in a person's chances of developing cancer as a result of drinking alcohol. Genes encode the enzymes involved in metabolizing alcohol. Individuals of East Asia heritage may carry a version of the gene that speeds the conversion of alcohol to a toxic chemical called acetaldehyde.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah. Those who carry this gene have a higher chance of developing esophageal cancer.
So notice everything is intake, right? All of this stuff got to do with what you put into yourself. Go to the next one.
Coming in at number 3, well done or burnt food. I'm just saying what to say.
That's me right there.
Overcooked or burnt food. Some overcooked or burnt foods, mainly meat, the people who only like burnt stuff on the grill, mainly meat, form chemicals called heterocyclic amines, HCAs, or polyclinic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAH. These chemicals are the result of amino acids, sugars, and creatine reacting at high temperatures. The juices that drip down onto an open flame or heat source create smoke that release PAHs.
Now, when I do eat my little meat, mine is going to be well done still. Continue.
They say overcooked. Well, you know when they call it well done, they're actually saying it's overcooked. But we know
What number is this?
This is number 3.
It's number 3. This is getting closer to death. This is number 3.
But all of these things are killing you. That's what I'm trying to get across to y'all. Consider what you are eating.
All right, check it. It says meat cooked at temperatures of 300 degrees Fahrenheit or above, or those meats cooked for very long periods, form HCAs.
That name.
For the starchy foods, cooked until they are dark brown. Some studies link the consumption of these compounds to ovarian and endometrial cancers, though definitive evidence is still developing. Number 2, that was overcooked and burnt food.
You know, in the scriptures, they roasted the lamb in the fire. That was super overcooked. They still ate it.
No, it just depends on how long they cooked it and what they cooked it to. Number 2, hot beverages.
What is it?
Hot beverages.
How many of us can't wait to get our coffee and our tea? There's a whole industry built on it. Starbucks, Tim Horton, right? Dunkin' Donuts. Kind of hit you in the stomach, right?
So it can be warm but not hot.
Yeah, it would be better to be warm.
See, I knew you wasn't supposed to be burning the back of your throat with this stuff. I knew it. My wife went, drink it while it's hot. Move your tongue back though, because the tongue gonna hurt. See, Yahuwah don't do nothing that's gonna make you chill. I knew it. Thank you, boy. A study in the International Journal of Cancer shows the connection between esophageal cancer and hot beverages. Consuming a beverage such as hot tea at temperatures higher than 140 degrees cause thermal damage to the cells that line the esophagus and may be responsible for this increased risk. Those who drink hot beverages before letting them cool and also consume alcohol and smoke cigarettes increase their chances of developing esophageal cancer 5-fold.
How many fold?
5 of them.
5-fold. And the number 1, what do y'all think the number 1 is?
You gotta be smoked.
The number 1 thing that is killing you is processed meats. According to the U.S.
So when you go into the grocery store and you go around and the fruit is over here, and then you go past that, you run into all the breads and the sweet stuff, and you go past that, and you come to the meat part. You go a little bit further, then you got the sandwich meat, the lunch meat, and hot dogs, and all of that stuff. But these is Hebrew nationals. Trash. Trash. We
get you a turkey and cook it, cut it.
So now ask yourself when they in the deli part of that thing, right? And they got that whole big loaf of meat in that thing. Is a turkey breast that big? How did they get it in there like that? It's processed. I mean, they did something to it because the turkey breast ain't that big to be able to do that. The chicken ain't that big to be able to do that, but it's in a whole loaf, and they go through it. How did they get it in there? It's leftovers. So we eat pure trash, and you think, oh, this is healthy. This is lean meat. It is number one. Read.
According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Americans are eating more meat than ever.
Did what?
More meat than ever.
Than ever. Read.
Around 222 pounds each year per person.
Per what?
Per person.
Oh my goodness. Read.
Processed meats including sausage.
What?
Sausage.
See, we gotta have a balanced breakfast, and the first thing you eat in the morning is sausage. You mess it, as soon as your body's supposed to be in recovery, you mess it up and give it this. Read.
Sausage. Hot dogs.
What is it?
Hot dogs.
Well, mine is Hebrew Nationals. These are the good ones.
All hot dogs.
Read.
Pepperoni. Packaged lunch meat. Beef jerky.
What?
Ham. Beef jerky.
Beef jerky?
Man, that's gonna kill me right there. You know what I'm saying? That hickory smoke with it.
Because they can put it in some sort of a process, preservatives to keep it. I mean, it's no good.
I was trying to figure out how they make it look like that in the first place. Ham and bacon. What?
Oh, I'm not giving my bacon up.
Turkey bacon? Sheesh. All right, it says, it's true. These may increase the odds of developing colorectal cancer. The World Health Organization warns that daily consumption of even one hot dog.
How many?
Of even one hot dog.
No, 5 or 6.
Of even one hot dog.
When we have the barbecue, how many hot dogs do we eat? How many we eat?
Or when we was cooking them in the back.
How many do you eat when you sit down and eat hot dogs?
You got to start off with 2.
Yo, 2. Gotta bring your hand
You
like
gotta
this.
start off with 2. One on your way to where you're going to eat, and then the other one when you sit down.
Consider what you are eating. What is before you? Read.
It says, the World Health Organization warns that the daily consumption of even one hot dog or a few strips of bacon increase cancer risk by 18%.
By what?
By 18%.
Oh my goodness.
Processed meats are any that have been cured, smoked, salted, canned, or dried. They contain, I think this is nitrates, preservatives added to enhance flavor and deter bacteria growth. Nitrates also occur naturally in fresh food. Researchers can, this word is cut off, link them to cancer, though the research is ongoing.
So, as you can see, we should consider what is before us as we're eating. Think of it in this way. Every time I eat this,
Hold it down.
I'm scratching some of my days off. That's how you should look at it. I'm cutting out some of my days. When I say, oh, I'm going to go to Starbucks and get me a coffee. Oh, it's quick and easy. I don't feel like doing this. Let me get the lunch meat. Go ahead.
So what about plant-based meat because it's processed?
It's processed. Same thing. It's processed.
What was the question?
What's a plant-based meat?
So
Like,
around
you
me,
get like chickenless chicken.
Impossible Burger.
Chickenless chicken. So we're going to make Franken food. We're going to make
Give me back like I said, back vegan. It's different chicken.
Franken food. Bacon.
Depending on what you eat.
Go ahead.
My thing is, what is we gonna eat, man?
I knew this was going to be a hard one. But your best bet is to eat fruit and vegetables. That is your best bet. Nuts, seeds, things of that nature. This would increase your life. It would make you feel better the whole nine. Right now, your belly God is attacking you. He's going to take everything away from you.
It's about finding different recipes.
Listen, y'all, listen. Let's look at it like this. None of the stuff that you eat right now is sin. The way that you eat the stuff right now is the sin. Right? Your life should outweigh your taste buds. Consider, that's all they say, consider. So instead of going to get that big piece of steak and then have a little salad on the side, get you a big salad and cut you a heart size out of that steak. Once a week. You know what I'm saying? Again, listen, y'all know me. I was the same way. Y'all know I can eat, but I'm telling you, you gotta consider that your life is more important than your taste buds. The only reason why we looking to have this stuff like we want it is because of how it tastes. It's not because it's benefiting our body. After you get done eating, you hurt, and you're mucusy, and you're this, and you're that. So it's not because it feels good to you, it's because it tastes good to you. You know what I'm saying?
The Mediterranean diet is one thing. It's like that. It's mostly seeds, fruits, nuts, a little fish. You know, like we'll eat every once in a while, but it's kind of probably what we would have eaten anyway, because it's full of like olive oil, full of olives and fruit, nuts, seeds, dates, all that stuff. A little bit of fish, you know, and all that's in that zone that they say people live the longest, and that's what they eat. Is, you know, supposed to live like the average person lives like 100 years because that's the diet that eats up the Mediterranean diet.
Right. So we should consider, right, what's before us. Now, look down at your stomach.
Hey.
Look down at your stomach. It is a telltale sign.
So it's a telltale sign.
Now let me ask you a question. You got some people are small and
I was just
young.
about to say, but that's just a sign.
It's terrible.
You know how you eat.
Well, I know
I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about is some people that's skinny that can eat the same 6 pizzas and drink the whole 2 liter, whatever it be. Same thing. They just got a super fast metabolism. And it's still unhealthy. And at some point, it's going to catch up with you. It's going to affect you. So now, if anybody ever went on a fruit diet, not a fruit fast, but a fruit diet, you know when you go to the bathroom, it has no odor, right? So when you are feeding your baby Gerber or any of the other ones, why is there an odor to it? Oh, they did something to it. It can't really be fruit and vegetable like the way that they saying, because if it was, it shouldn't be no odor. So we gotta stop being lazy, going and buy that, and take your own plants and smash them up into what it should be. Take your own pears and smash them up and make it yourself. Because there's something to it. You know what I'm saying? So again, I know this is a hard one because it's gonna, oh my goodness, look back there on that thing. Right in that window.
That's the good kind though, Bob. They I'm saying? Apples, you know? It's peach cobbler.
Exactly. It's banana pudding. See? This candy is candy corn. That's still a vegetable, see?
Straight up. Straight up.
What you got up?
Isn't the vegetables and fruit, isn't that genetically engineered as well, though? Isn't that stuff genetically engineered too?
And guess what? It's still better than that meat. It's still 100 times better than that meat. That's why, again, you should have your own garden. We should stop worrying about how pretty our lawn is and make food.
I had that mentality at one point in time, right? Where, you know, when brothers was first bringing this up, a couple years ago, I'm like, man, the plants is horrible, the meats is horrible. We're gonna die anyway. You might as well just enjoy. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't kill yourself faster. What my man's do when he took my man's to the end of Mr. Sam's? What did he do to him? You wanna die? Y'all remember the joint? You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you? Right? Hold them over them there. It's like you wanna die. But that's what you're doing to yourself. So, you know, if you can slow up your death, wouldn't you want to? Or you got the option to push fast forward.
Exactly. This stuff is the reason why we're walking around sick. This is the reason that we're doing it. We're doing it from what we consume, from what we take in. It is making us sick. The reason why stuff is hurting. Oh, my knees hurt so bad. Oh, my ankles. It's because you are eating what you should not be eating.
Oh, could you speak a little bit on, seedless fruits?
Same thing.
Modified.
It's modified. It's been tampered with. You know what I'm saying? But still better than the meat.
Someone was showing me, I don't know, because I only heard about this once and saw it once. They were saying that bananas, the way they are, like in I guess South America or wherever, that are untampered, you know, they just grow wild, that the seeds in them are huge. I mean, as opposed to what we're used to, that they take up a lot of the room in the banana, and when they showed the picture of it, I was like, what? It didn't even look like it. Seen that? Oh, maybe. Have you ever eaten it?
It's more, it's like
So
bananas.
what should we do to get ourselves out of this? That's it. What should we be doing? So you should start by, in the morning, you should stop, like, for instance, if you eat at 8 o'clock, push it back to 9, right? But make it be fruit and vegetable, right? And then 2 days later, push it back to 10. A couple days later, push it to 11. And keep going with that and keep going with that. And when you do this, your stomach is shrinking. You will stop giving in to the cravings of this. Then we should stop eating after 9, right? We should have some type of herbs. Sea moss is the one, because now you will have your minerals in you, which will take away some of the hunger from you, because you will still have your minerals in you. We should be drinking plenty of water. Therefore, you would have the full feeling a lot more, right? So these things right here will keep you going. And fruit don't sit in your stomach for days. It goes right through. So it don't sit there and collect When they say soul food, see, that's that food that stick to you. That means it's trash. It's supposed to go in and do it, give you your energy that it's supposed to do, and be out. But it sits there for days. So you are sitting there with a rotten animal inside of you. That's what you gotta think about it as. So every day, push it back a little bit further, a little bit further, and a little bit further, and you will see, you will start, the cravings and stuff will start to go away.
I don't know whether you have a comment on this, but one thing I've kept in mind for years is the fact that people, what one person can eat and they're fine, another person can't. Our bodies start off being different, I guess, from heredity or whatever. It was hard to get my father to change his eating habits because of, he ate the regular, what you call soul food, the whole gamut. He smoked since he was, I'm not saying any of that was good, but he just, showing how different his body was. He had no skin problems. He started smoking when he was a teenager. He never spent a day in the hospital until the end of his life. He lived to be 91 years old.
91.
Most of my uncles and aunts lived to be in their 90s. I've got one aunt that's still living. She's probably close to 100 now. And my father did succumb to, I think, largely because he didn't drink enough water. The doctor kept telling him he needs to drink more water. He had become addicted to Pepsi. He loved his Pepsi. So that messed up his, what would it be? Not your liver, but your kidney. And so his kidney shut down. My father spent maybe a week in the hospital, and he succumbed to that and died. He probably would have lived to be maybe 100 or whatever. But
just said
it's
it.
always different. Somebody else do something like that, and they be gone like in their 20s, 30s, or whatever.
Yep, so he lived to be 90 something. He probably, without doing it, would have lived to be 100 plus. Who knows? But the stuff that he ate eventually caught up to him. That's what I want everybody to know. That's what I want you to consider. Every time we eat bad, you should consider, I'm scratching some of my days off. That's what we should consider. Everything that we do, what we consume, we should consider it before we eat it. Is this benefiting me? Is this taking me close to heart, blood pressure, heart disease, kidney failure, all of these different things? Is this taking me to this? If it do, you should consider it. Right? This is what we should be considering. So gluttony comes in these forms, uncontrolled, not just to sit there and eat all day, but when food controls you, we can see through the scriptures, it controls a lot of people. And the very thought of giving up meat shows you that you got it. So with that, we say, this court is adjourned.
You like it, you hate it. Don't be telling me when I can't read. Teach this again. Next time.
Clean up your tables.
Wrath next time.
Wrath is next time. Wrath. 2 more deadly sins left. Wrath and pride. If you thought you knew, you don't know. But yeah, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and pray out. Oh, they said, I think you already said, what type of herbs would you recommend that we have on the table?
Definitely sea moss, bladderwrack, ginger, and lime. These are daily ones that should be taken. starve, you wouldn't be as hungry all the time, right? So since we've been eating so terrible for the longest, and we're full of mucus, we need Olaine or mullein to get rid of what's in there. But a lot of people is taking it, but they go right back and eat the same stuff that put the mucus in there in the first place. So now you cough it up and spit it all up, but you go right back and put it right back in. Wow, they ain't working, man. You sure? Have you been spitting up the last cup? Yeah, but still, it's still in there. What you been eating? You changed the diet? No, I'm still, that's why. Because you put it right back in there. And all the processed meats and all the things that it was talking about, the carbohydrates and all of them cause mucus, which cause the inflammation, which causes you to be sick.
Somebody asked in the chat in regards to food, what if you're bodybuilding and trying to get bigger?
So, if you're bodybuilding, again, there's vegan bodybuilders, right? There are people that are only eat plants and are bodybuilding. But this is ironic that I just talked to a dude at the gym last night who was in there cut up. Everything was there, right? And I asked him, I said, bro, how do you cut up? What's the cut up process? He said, bro, the better that I feel, the better that my body look, the worse I feel. Let that sink in. The better that my body looks, the worse I feel. Say I look good, bro, but I feel horrible inside because I can't do nothing. And I'm drinking all of these things and I'm eating all of this and this. I feel terrible, but his body is on point, right? So again, this come back to vanity, to being vain. What is it that he says? Exercise profits little. It don't say don't do it. But if it's for any type of vanity, again, this is why I got to show them the Heineken. I got to show it to you, right? That's what it comes down to. But they are vegan bodybuilders.
Some of the places you can go to like Kroger, Myers, and get those type of fruits. We have Kroger, Meyer. I guess you can go to, we like to go to Zerbo's.
Tell them why.
Yeah. So pretty much, like when I was dealing with produce, we didn't deal with a lot of fruits, but some of the best places to go, like Meyer, for example, require like the best quality of produce. And so, like if you go, I don't want to really call nobody out. He is like on the platform. I guess like if you go into like Aldi is not necessarily having the best quality produce. You know what I mean? They get second grade produce they always have top grade produce. Walmart is good too. Walmart is good. Walmart has actually stepped their game up in regards to produce. So that Walmart too, I would recommend Walmart. At one point in time it wasn't so good, but Walmart has stepped their game up. Yeah. Definitely program money.
So like he was telling us before about this, that he worked in this warehouse with produce, and the produce that was in the other grocery stores wasn't even allowed to touch what was going to Myers, Kroger, and what's the other one? And Walmart. It wasn't even allowed to touch it. Because if it touched it, it would be contaminated and it wouldn't be no more good. Right? So, them is the best places, but the best thing again, to get rid of your lawn, catch some sisters of the people that's on Facebook that's selling the seeds, and grow your own. It will be the best. When we was in Babylon, he told them, get comfortable, build your houses, and plant new gardens. Again, we've been raised wrong, so we think having a sweet lawn is everything. When it should be food in the back, but that requires work. Why work when I can go to the grocery store and get it from them? Right? So, is anything else? What you got? I'll let me for some herbs. Gotcha. Unstepped on.
We gonna pray. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. Pray out. Pray out. Pray out. Pray out. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. We gonna pray. Pray out. Pray out. Pray out. Pray out. Whoa, whoa. All minds clear? Abba Yahuwah, we come again before you, thanking you for allowing us to just be together once again as a family. We thank you for allowing us to be in good health as we know it. We thank you for the instructor and going through your scriptures to find out those things that we need to know for our own diets. We thank you for the opportunity to conquer the belly, God. We thank you for the opportunity to be able to renew our minds as far as food is concerned, that we eat to live and not live to eat. Abba, we thank you for the word that you have continued to bestow upon us, Father, that we're able to maneuver through these perilous times. We thank you for each other, for we know that it's a lot of situations that we go through, Father, that if it were just us to be able to bear it alone, Father, that we would be in a dark place. We thank you for the love that you've continuously shown us, Father, and the mercy that you're continuing to show upon us, Father, with each and everything that we learn. We just ask that you be patient with us, Father, that we get it right, that you forgive us for our sins, our transgressions, and our iniquities, those both known and unknown, that you reveal to us the things that we're doing wrong, that we may correct it. We ask that you continue to put upon the hearts and the minds of your people discernment. And we ask, Father, that you just keep your steps under ours, Father. That we don't walk alone when we walk with you. If there's any other thing that we need to pray for, like the Brother Damon and his family, we ask, Father, that you send your healing wings down, Father, and touch their hearts out. We ask that the attacks that will come Brother Damon's way, Father, that you thwart them. We ask that you comfort him in a way that no human being can comfort him, Father. And for anybody else that's going through trials and tribulations right now, Father, we ask that you comfort your people, that we may be able to withstand the wiles of the devil, and that we don't feel so beat up that we just give in. Father, only you know the hearts and the minds of your people, Father. Only you know the depths of our situations and how far out they go. We just ask that you fill the voids that are inside of us, Father. For all these things we pray and we give thanks, Father. If there's anything that I haven't mentioned that are in the hearts of your people, Father, we ask that you allow your Ruach to peer into the hearts and the minds, to make intercession for us, Father. That those things be sent up as a sweet smelling savor unto you, Father. All these things we pray and we give thanks in the mighty name of your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach Ruach HaKodesh. So be it.
So be it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Abinu Shema Shemaim. Abinu Shema Shemaim. Ikadosh. Ikadosh. Sheka. Sheka. Tabo. Tabo. Makuka. Makuka. Yase. Yase. Rasonka. Rasonka. Bares. Bares. Kashir. Kashir. Nasha. Nasha. Bashemaim. Bashemaim. Ten Lanu. Ten Lanu. Ayon. Ayon. Ikim. Ikim. Ikanu. Ikanu. Uzla. Uzla. Anu. Anu. Eight. Ashmatenu. Ashmatenu. Kashir. Kashir. Sokin. Sokin. Anagnu. Anagnu. Ashir. Ashir. Ashmu. Ashmu. Lanu. Lanu. Baal. Baal. Tabinu. Tabinu. Mede. Mede. Masa. Masa. Ki. Ki. In. Asalanu. Asalanu. Mi. Mi. Bara. Bara. Ki. Ki.